everybody, it's Dan with Trapping the Ozarks. Sorry it's been so long since we've put any videos out. Man, crazy times right now in the world, right? COVID-19, shelter in place, plus it's been springtime. I've been super busy with a lot of other projects, trying to get garden in. I built Daniela some raised beds to add to the garden, food plots going in. Man, it's been super busy, just doing a lot of stuff, spraying, fertilizing, and I'm finally back to having a little bit of time to cranking out some videos. So I'm trying to crank out a whole bunch of videos on a bunch of requests and a bunch of ideas. So today I want to do kind of a little recap, which we had several people ask about this. So talk a little bit about our trapping season and kind of where we are right now with fur, because that's the other thing is I'm trying to figure out, I've got fur left over, I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm actually going to ship some of it off today. Fortunately, I sold about half my fur earlier in the season. I didn't sell all of it because number one, I didn't have all of it caught, and number two, I didn't have all of it fleshed and stretched and dried, so I just sold what I had, which was just 30 coyotes. And I'm glad I did because prices were pretty good considering then. I averaged around $40, a little over $40 for all those 30 coyotes, so I thought that was pretty decent. But now I think these coyotes that I have left, I think I have 34 left. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to get for them. 20 bucks maybe? Who knows? I guess we'll see. I don't even have anywhere to take them at the moment, so I'm shipping them off and we're going to see how that works. So let's talk a little bit about how the season ended up and kind of where we ended. So our coyote catches were a little bit down this year compared to the last couple years. We ended up with 64. I didn't count 6 because I caught 6 that were really, really mangy and basically just threw them in a ditch. So I guess technically we would have had 71 would be actually caught, but we actually harvested 64. We caught 8 bobcats, we caught 3 fox. I did not harvest any of the foxes. We caught 24 coons. I didn't try to catch 24 coons, those were just accidentals basically. But that happens when you're trying to catch, predators like coyotes and things like that. And 39 possums, believe it or not. I obviously wasn't trying to catch 39 possums, but I trapped on some new properties and things like that. And number one, you're just going to catch some possums from time to time. And number two, when you're on new properties, you're always going to catch possums if that property hasn't been trapped for a while. You got to clean some of those things out. I don't know why there's always so many possums around, but phew. I caught 11 domestic dogs, which is pretty close to probably a record for me. If it isn't a record, it's really close. And I caught 1 domestic cat. So 11 dogs, 1 cat, 39 possums, 24 coons, 3 fox, 8 bobcats, 64 coyotes, not counting the 6 mangy ones. The average number of traps that I had out was 24. The maximum number of traps I had out was 48. That was only twice when I took a couple weeks off, one in week in December and 1 week in January when Steve and I went out and put my traps out, put his traps out. I've got about 50 traps, so I had 48 of my own traps out, was the most I had out. Average number of properties, the maximum number of properties that we were ever on at one time was 7. That's private properties, that doesn't include government land. And then the average number of properties we were on at any given time was 3.5 actually. So between 3 and 4 properties that we were normally trapping on, not counting government land. Seems like we always have at least some traps on the government. So that's kind of a rundown as to where we were. I also have some stuff about baits and lures on here. And there's some caveats to this, and we talked about that in previous deals, but the top 2 baits that I seemed to catch critters on was Caven's Hiawatha Valley and Predator Control Groups. Where is it on here? Federales. So Federales and Hiawatha Valley were the 2 baits that it seemed like I had the most catches off of. Violator 7 was from Cavens, was also one of the top 2 lures. And a new lure, Kansas Trapline Products lure that I had not used before, was also one of the top 2. I used that early in the season and did really, really good. And I have that, I'll give you the name of that here in a second, as soon as I find it on my scribbles on my sheet here. But, oh, Positive Attraction, that's what it is. Kansas Trapline Products, Positive Attraction, and that proved really, really well, especially early in the season. It's more of a milder lure, and it worked really well early on, and then of course, later in the year, I started using some stuff that was more skunky when I got colder, and Violator 7 was really well, did really well. So those are my baits, those are my 2 top lures that seem to catch the most catches on, and total number of catches, total number of traps. So overall, pretty good year. Don't really have any complaints. I think the year before I had like 79 coyotes or something like that. So a little bit down, but not really that much. I don't know why I was really down. The year before, I thought it was a tougher year because of all the mud. This year, we did have quite a bit of rain this year as well, but not mud and rain like we did the year before. I don't know why the totals were a little bit down. There was several new places that I trapped this year that I thought were going to be excellent, and just turned out not to be very good at all. And I don't really know why. If you look at them from a map, you look at them from Google Earth, you look at them just visually, you're like, man, this has got to be a good pinch point. This has got, just didn't catch them. I don't know why. Sometimes that's just the way it is. One problem I did have this year on some of these newer properties is I seem to have more cow problems this year than I've had in several years. Don't know why that is either. Didn't do anything different, just seem to have more cow problems. So now I'm boxing up what fur I have left. I have 34 coyotes left to sell. I don't think anywhere will even buy these coons, at least none of the places that I've seen even wants to buy a coon. And even for these coons, I think were they worth like $2, $3, $4 a piece. So I think I'm going to do something different with them. I'm not 100% decided yet. Some of this fur I'm just going to get tanned. Some of my cats I'm going to get tanned. I have an otter I'm going to get tanned that Steve caught and gave to me. So I'm going to tan that and tan some of these other furs. And then I think I'm going to make Daniela a vest, a hooded vest out of some of these coons. Do something with them. So that's kind of the rundown of our season. We'll do some more videos about some things that we learned this season, because it's always a learning process, and another video. But at least wanted to get this out. So hope everybody's being safe. It's a cool morning here in the Ozarks, 29 degrees. 2 days ago it was 80, typical spring in the Ozarks. But shelter in place, wash your hands, be careful, all that kind of rigmarole. Hopefully this COVID-19 shelter in place stuff's going to be over soon. I'm pretty much tired of it. So be careful out there, and we'll see you soon.